just engaged autonomy. And so
wow, look at that.
the AI is now controlling the speed, the steering, everything about the vehicle, and we're straight into traffic. Let's watch how we safely navigate around that cyclist. You can see we're slowing down, giving it some distance. Here we're going to make a left turn, which will be interesting to see. So here we should slow down and see how we let the cyclist go through and then make the left turn.
When we moved over to make the left turn and we had to pick which lane we were going to, was it responding to that it knows from mapping that it has to be in the left lane, or did it actually read the indications on the roadway itself?
It gets told simply a navigation prompt like drive straight or take a left here or things like this, a bit like what you might get if you use a sat-nav system. None of the way the car is controlled in terms of the speed it chooses or the line it takes, none of this is hand programmed. It's not following a map, but it's making all of these decisions based on what it sees.
And the whole driving model is on a single GPU in the car, is that?
Yep. So there's nothing on the cloud. It's all on board the vehicle on a single GPU with a similar amount of compute to what we're seeing in production vehicles today.
How did you gather the training data for the system?
We use a wide variety of sources of training data to make sure that we learn the most safe and performant system. So of course we have our own fleet that we test throughout the day and night, getting experience in London, and we do some trips to other cities as well from time to time. We've partnered with Asda and Ocado, two of the largest grocery fleets here. Together we collect data from their grocery fleets. And we have some other initiatives like that that we're sort of taking off around the world.
You mentioned it's sort of like a large language model. It takes in all of that data, including things that you wouldn't necessarily want the model to model its behavior on, but having that amount of data sort of makes the system more robust in the end. But then of course with large language models, they do have that sort of reinforcement learning through human feedback process. Is there some similar or equivalent thing that you do with the data?
Yeah, there is. And the fact that the way that we test and we give the system feedback, or in simulation, when we resimulate and look to understand how the system performs, it's very similar form of feedback. In general, the way that I've been working on these AI models for over a decade now, and I've seen breakthroughs in computer vision or robotics or natural language. They all tend to converge. We're seeing now the same techniques apply in different fields. So the rise of synthetic data, for example, in large language models, we're seeing the same thing with generative AI and what we can do in simulation for driving. Multimodality. Now we have vision language models, say with the LLMs. Similarly, we have Lingo, which gives us language capabilities in this car. So all of these kind of trends are playing out in a very similar way. Of course, the interesting thing in this space is that we have the integration problem of making it run real time in a car, and the safety challenge of running in the open world where we can't control what might happen. Ultimately, I think what we're learning is that AI is breaking through a lot of the glass ceiling that we've seen in the industry so far, removing the need for maps and being able to leave the geofence, enabling the use of cost-effective hardware and sensors, but more importantly, solving the long tail of edge cases and producing behavior that's intelligent enough to drive in complex environments like London.